Namaste.
Recording is in progress now. We are starting refresh again. Pandit Ram Narayan Padma Vibhushan, born on 25th of December 1927. He also left us on the 9th of November 2024, just a month and a half back. The lifetimes and legend of Pandit Ram Narayan. Today we are going to be listening about his, greatness from the lens of the family members, the son, Pandit Brij Narayanji, Sarod exponent, and his grandson, Harsh Narayanji, who is probably the reflection of the Sarangi expertise, which his grandfather, donned for so many years. Without wasting any further time, despite celebrating and mourning the demise of the greats like Ustaz Zakir Hussain, the nation and the world should also remember that Pandit Ram Narayan also left us only 45 days back, and the entire country needs to celebrate his times and life, including how we, from the shadows of social blemishes, brought the instrument back into super stardom and limelight. Let me hand it over to Pandit Brij Narayanji and Harshji. Please take us through the greatness of Pandit Padma Vibhushan Ram Narayan.
Namaste, Abhijit. Very nice speaking to you on this occasion. Thank you very much for inviting us.
Harsh, when did you start learning? When did you start learning Sarangi from Pandit Ram Narayanji?
Yes, Amitji. I would like to share this story with you and with all our viewers today. And first and foremost, thank you very much, Amit Goenka ji, for having us for the show. And I started learning from my grandfather at the early age of 6, and I must share. My school timing was up till 3:45 in the evening, and I would be home by 4 p.m. and father to sit for his practice. So he would sit from 4 p.m. till about 6:30 p.m. every day in the evening and teaching a few students. And at that time, my father, Pandit Brij Narayan, who was also my guru, he was traveling a lot. He was touring the world. He was, he used to be in Europe at least 2 times a year for 2 to 3 months at one go. So as a child, I saw my grandfather more often teaching his students and in a way reduce the amount of tours that he was doing. And that's how the sound of the sarangi came into my ears right from the childhood. And one day I gathered some courage and I told my grandfather, Pandit Ram Narayanji, that I would like to learn this instrument. And he was very happy to do that. And out of lot of love, he prepared one small sarangi for me and started teaching me. So that's how sarangi came into my life. Extremely happy to hear this.
Panditji, the question which comes to my mind as a basic layman is, Harsh took up sarangi. Why didn't you take up sarangi and you took up sarod?
You see, from my very childhood, I spent more time with my uncle Pandit Chaturlalji. He was a great tabla maestro, and he was accompanying Ustad Ali Akbar Khan, Ravi Shankar, and all the stalwarts. And I liked the sound of the sarod very much. So I told my uncle and my father that I would like to learn sarod. So that is how sarod came into my life.
Another example of the greatness of the man. He never superimposed his, love on his son, who also wanted to take up music. And that is what today's parents need to learn, to harness the love and potential of a child. That is what Pandit Ram Narayan should also be congratulated for. Could you tell us a little more about, Panditji, first of all, could you tell us about Pandit Ram Narayan, right from the times that you started understanding things, as a child, as a son, could you tell us a little more about him as a personality?
You see, in my family, but later on, my uncle Yatullah, he shifted to Delhi. And in my family, whenever my father was the most important thing, play good music, play traditional music, and also was a very, very traditional musician. He also played music as it should be played. That is why I was all the time listening to these people that music show. And that is how that inspiration was coming to me all the time. I was listening to my uncle Chaturlalji and Ustad Ali Akbar Khan and my father. My father started teaching me very early, and see, now there is one very important thing. On the sarangi, we have three main strings. Three main strings. But on sarod, we have four main strings. In that way, my father also taught me how to use the strings on the sarod and to use the four strings together on the sarod. That is how gaiki comes into the instrument, which is a very important part of Indian classical music. So my father always kept teaching us about ragas, about the vistar of ragas, and about the personality of ragas. That is how I was learning from my father and Ustad Ali Akbar Khan both.
Could you tell us a little more about his upbringing, Ram Narayanji's upbringing? Because he must have also learned from somebody.
No, I'll tell you, my father was hardly 4 or 5 years old when the Ganga Guru came over to Udaipur and he left his sarangi there. My grandfather was a very great person. He used to play the Dilruba, and when he used to play the Dilruba, this person who left the sarangi in our house, my grandfather repaired the instrument, put new strings, and he prepared the sarangi for my father. The first lesson that my father got from my grandfather was fingering technique, which finger should be used. Secondly, how to use the bow. There are two bow, up bow and down bow, जिसको हम कहते हैं सीधा गज और उल्टा गज. My grandfather, since he was a Dilruba player, he taught my father how to use the bow also. So my father learned music from my grandfather. Secondly, उदयपुर में जितने बड़े लोग थे, my father used to accompany them from very small childhood when he was hardly 10 years old. And the tongue of the sarangi is vocal music. That is how sarangi came into my father's life. Then he started playing the sarangi according to the instructions of my grandfather.
Tell us a few things about this instrument sarangi. What is the genesis of the word sarangi, if you can? Harsh,
Then
Harsh, I think this you have to tell us because you are the sarangi man.
Well, the name sarangi comes from the Hindi word saw rangi, means 100 colors of music. Correct. Now, in our country, there are so many states, so many prants, and each prant has its own music. So many colors of in our country, and in all prants, all folk music, sarangi is used, and that is why it is called an instrument of 100 musical colors. Sarangi. From sarangi came sarangi. So,
Can sarangi and sarod be played together?
yes, yes. In fact, one of my most favorite jugalbandis that I have ever heard is of my grandfather Pandit Narayan ji and my father Pandit Narayan ji. That jugalbandi is available on my website harshnarayan.com in videos, and I would urge all the listeners, all our viewers today to go and listen to that jugalbandi. That is a very unique jugalbandi. No, the instruments have sarod is a plucked instrument, sarangi is a bowing instrument. It is very difficult for them to come together and be performed because sarod is tuned in another pitch, sarangi is tuned in another pitch. But when you listen to that jugalbandi, you absolutely forget that what are the challenges that would have ever been.
Both tabla and sarangi faced a lot of criticism at one point in time, but tabla took off, sarangi didn't. If subject to my limited knowledge about music, almost zero knowledge, tabla is much more popular. Why?
Well, one incident that I would like to narrate, which my grandfather shared with me, and my father can throw more light on that, is as a child when my grandfather started learning the sarangi, and relatives and people around were very unhappy. Oh, why do you want Ram Narayan ji to learn the sarangi? Because where will he play the sarangi? So when the question arises, where will he play it? We know it was not a very respectable place where it would be performed. And that time, my great grandfather, his father, said everyone that no, he will play from All India Radio. And I'm talking about the 1930s when playing at All India Radio was considered a very, very big thing. And that Bhavishyavani, I would say, of my great grandfather came true when my grandfather got a job at All India Radio Lahore in the mid 40s or the early 1940s. And from that point onwards, he basically just changed the landscape of the sarangi. And it's for the first time people started hearing sarangi in a very, very different way. And it is him who is responsible for putting it on the world map, on the global map. And I think sarangi is very, very popular today because of his approach and his contribution to this instrument.
No, there is no doubt about it. There is no doubt about it, and that makes me more perplexed as to the kind of low profile this instrument and the great Ram Narayan had for so many years. Because even today, to this date, I am not somebody who knows music at all, but we've been running this series wherein we bring around so many performing artists, people with Padma Bhushans, Vibhushans, Padma Shri. So many people are associated, as I told you, Harsh, one day. Never has the name of Ram Narayan cropped up anywhere to my knowledge of little bit of research that we've been doing. Suddenly one day it came to me that there is the senior most person between us is Pandit Padma Vibhushan Ram Narayan, who is 95, 96 years old. This I'm talking about a couple of years back. And he's a Padma Vibhushan. Because I was very much closely in touch with Pandit Hari Prasad Chaurasia ji, and Chanulal Mishra ji and his sons, Ram Mishra. And I was told that they are the senior most because they were in their late 80s. They almost nanogenarians. But 96-year-old Ram Narayan was also between us. Why such a low profile for such a great artist? What made him keep such a low profile? And what makes the peers in your industry not speak so highly of him like they do for Ustaz Zakir Hussain or says even Sultan Khan or so many other artists? I keep hearing everybody's name, but as a layman, I never hear about Ram Narayan's name. Why is it so?
Well, one thing that I can say about this, Anuji, like what my grandfather strongly believed in is presenting pure music. There's the same principle that my father has followed, same principle that I have followed. Whereas name, fame, politics is something that we stay away from. And I would just say that people is, if you don't know, seek is how they say in English. But if people are willing to seek about this, then it is well and good. If not, our duty is to just present good music and just present it in its purest format. And that's what our family is all about.
I understand. I just wanted to hear it from the horse's mouth. But now, Pandit Narayanji, you've seen your father, get global acclaim. My little bit of study says to me and tells me, in the 70s, mid-70s, he started getting global acclaim. Could you tell us a little more about his global engagements?
You see, what happens is, I was witness when he was even in his struggling days. I used to attend all the concerts, and I was very, very fortunate to be with him even in Europe. Now, the problem is, people must get more information about the technique, about the playing, and about the quality of music. That was very important in Western countries. They play the bowing instruments, and that is why they were very, very impressed by the bowing technique of my father, and fingering technique, and the sound of the sarangi. And I have seen wonderful reviews of how they have compared the sarangi with the violin. So this information, unfortunately, was not publicized more in India. That is why education was a must, which recently it has started that music information is going from radio and TV and all, but it is far too less. Far too less. More information should have gone, and in this, the government of India and music lovers should have been more appropriate to listen to this sort of music and to understand the intricacies of the instrument.
Sarangi in contemporary India, medieval India also, was popular. I am sure it was played in the royal courts as well, because that is what we've seen in movies. I don't know anything, So it is not a new instrument. It is not something which somebody can, take credit for having invented. It is something which goes back thousands of years.
Yeah.
Despite all that, Tanpura, Sarangi, these are our, heritage instruments. Has UNESCO or has the government of India done anything specifically over the last at least 75, 80 years to, publicize or to probably glorify the instrument at a much larger scale, just like an instrument like tabla has been, or say santoor has been by Amjad Ali Khan? So has anything been done from that perspective globally or nationally?
Well, government is doing on their own this thing, but I think sarangi has picked up a lot in the last 2-3 decades after my father started playing internationally in global festivals. And as I told you, foreigners understood the sarangi because of the bowing instruments that they have there. And when they heard my father also trained up many, many students here in India as well as abroad about how to use the sarangi, how to play the bow, how the bow.
Even in movies in the 40s and 50s and 60s, we saw in the Hindi movies, we used to see a lot of use of the instrument, as far as I remember.
Yes.
But over the last 3-4 decades, 5 decades, the use of sarangi, why has it reduced, if it has reduced so considerably in the Indian movies? Because movies have a mass reach?
Now, a little thing that I would like to mention, Sarangi playing is not easy. So very few people took up this Sarangi in those days. Now there are hardly people who know about the Sarangi and who are playing the Sarangi. Have taken up now, many young children are playing the Sarangi and taken up this instrument.
I
That
was
is
told,
why.
that tabla took off primarily because it used to be an accompaniment. It used to accompany the sarod and the sitar, and it
Yeah.
used to complement that. But sarangi obviously never complemented those instruments, and henceforth, probably it lagged behind the tabla.
So basically, the primary role of the sarangi has also been accompaniment for decades. But here I would like to share that my grandfather was, when he started his career, he obviously started as an accompanist, and he accompanied some of the greatest vocalists of our country, like Ustad Bade Ghulam Ali Khan Sahab, Pandit Umkarnath Thakur, Pandit Krishna Rao Shankar Pandit. The top vocalist of our country from
He's played with Ustad Bade Ghulam Ali Khan also.
Yes, he's a
And Panditji, have you seen a concert with those kind of stars with your father?
Yeah, I have seen the concerts with accompanying Bade Ghulam Jhansi and Gwalior. I have seen my father accompanying Amir Khan in Delhi, studio number 2. When he came from Lahore, that was the first concert when Amir Khan took Sarangi. And my father accompanied him, and the whole studio was full with musicians. So my father, he accompanied great stalwarts, great vocalists in our country, and he has still many recordings with Umkarnath Thakur, with Krishna Rao Shankar Pandit, and also he accompanied great singers like Amir Khan sir.
Bhimsen Joshi?
Bhimsen Joshi also, yes.
Yes.
And what about the Karnataka stars? What about the Karnataka stars like, Bala Murli and all that? Has he got a chance to work with them?
Before I lose my thought process here, I would like to share something. I couldn't complete what I wanted to say. Is when he was accompanying all these greatest stalwarts, these vocalists, and after a certain time, my grandfather felt that there is a lot of music still left inside him, and he could not express himself fully like he wanted to, and he could not showcase the power or the amazing ability the sarangi has only in an accompanying role. And that's how he started thinking of, okay, no, I should be a soloist. And that's what the shift of the sarangi. He left 2 glorified careers, of that of an accompanist, and the second career where he has had a tremendous contribution in Bollywood music also, which I will come to a little later. He quit both these careers at the top of his, and when he was at his peak, to become a solo sarangi player.
Correct.
So it's not, the people usually talk about, okay, he has internationally taken sarangi at a solo level, but he has also been a top accompanist. He's also had a tremendous amount of fun. And only after that, he started playing solo sarangi and established that all over the world. So this is very important for the
international acclaims. Did he receive international awards and acclaims?
Yes, he has, and I will come to that. So when in the early 60s, when he started touring Europe, over there he met some of the greatest musicians of the West, like Sir Yehudi Menuhin, like Rostropovich, Isaac Stern, and the ranks and the calibers of these musicians, and they admired him, they loved him because of his approach to playing the sarangi. Now I must say one thing, that people usually talk about variety of styles of playing the sarangi. but it is my grandfather's approach and style that has given it international acclaim. Period. This is the absolute fact. That is because the way he approached the instrument, his musicality, the way he played it, has put so and he openly even said that
To appreciate something, one must know about the instrument and the quality of the instrument. That, as I said earlier, was not actually publicized in public. The best sarangi that you can hear in even in Bollywood, because this instrument is such a great instrument, it was fitting in. वो कहते हैं ना, there are 12 different type of feelings, 12 feelings, and sarangi projects all of them. So my father has played fantastic sad songs, love songs, and fabulous poetry. He has played in those poetries fantastically. तो अभी वो कम हो गया है. Even people who wants to use the sarangi, they must know the knowledge of the instrument.
I was told sarangi reflects the feelings, Indianness and the feelings like no other instrument. That is
Yes.
what just now you told us. 12 feelings, all can be reflected with the use of the instrument. Is it
Correct.
not? Is it true only for the instrument sarangi?
Well, it depends on the artist, how he want to express himself, how he is going to express. It depends on the raga. We have all type of ragas.
and I would like to add on to this, and what Papa I think is see, usually there is a thing which is associated with the sarangi, saying, oh, it's a very sad instrument. I'm hearing this right from my childhood कि अरे बहुत sad instrument है ये, बहुत sad बाजा है, right? And I would like to state this, that that's what my father was saying, that sarangi, apart from sadness, can also communicate many other feelings, like happiness also. And when he's talking about, like with my grandfather, again, when he played in Bollywood music, he played happy songs, he played peppy songs, he played kavalis, he played romantic songs. And in a romantic song, when he played the sarangi, it didn't give a sad feeling, it gave a romantic feeling. So when people say that, oh, it is a sad instrument, it is their mind block. It is not the mind, it is not the thing of the instrument, it's the way they listen to it. And
who are the top musicians, top music directors that he played with? And yesterday we had the centenary celebration of the great Mohammad Rafi Sahab. So did he get a chance to play for songs sung by Mr. Mohammad Rafi also?
Many songs, many. See, my grandfather was, he was for over 2.5 decades, he worked in Bollywood. He worked with Jaidev ji, he worked with Roshan ji, he worked with Naushad ji, and Shankar Jaikishan ji, right up till Pyarelal ji. Also, my father worked a lot with Lakshmikant Pyarelal ji. So he worked with a variety of music, with O.P. Nayyar ji. So, he played in numerous films, just to name one or two, the famous ones which everyone might be able to relate to, like Mughal-e-Azam, like Pakizat. And he played background music, he played songs in all these movies. So he's worked with the music directors right from the 50s till the 80s. You name it and he's worked with them. So, his contribution...
Ram Narayan ji was part of the trope in the Mughal-e-Azam and Pakiza?
Yes. All the sarangi you hear in those films are my grandfather.
That is what I was thinking about. Earlier we used to hear sarangi in so many movies. And Mohammad Rafi also, he's played some music for Mohammad Rafi songs. Can you name a couple of songs?
Absolutely. But here say one thing. See, the way he introduced Sarangi into Bollywood music, that also had never happened before. And when he stopped accompanying, that's when he entered the Bollywood film industry and he want basically that was his source of livelihood. And he always said that he never felt like working there. And he is the only musician, classical musician, who retired at his peak, even from Bollywood music, to to continue his work as a classical musician. You know,
Okay. I
he
mean, couple of songs that he played for Mohammed Rafi songs.
एक तो दीवाना हुआ बादल आपने सुना होगा गाना,
Uh,
और शर्मिला टैगोर जी पे पिक्चराइज हुआ है. उसमें जो पूरी सारंगी बजी है वो मेरे ग्रैंडफादर की है.
Brilliant. I mean, that is the song. I think yesterday also was a very popular in the show that was hosted in the memory of the great Muhammad Rafi Sahab.
जी.
Bridji, in your memories, you must have seen your father and accompanied your father
You
with,
see,
with some top politicians like Indira Gandhi, Shastri ji. I mean, did you get a chance to accompany your father to these prime ministers?
yes, yes. In 1967, I went to Kabul with Indira Gandhi ji, and I played there 2 or 3 concerts in Kabul, and Mrs. Gandhi was there. Then with Shastri ji, once I went to Delhi and performed in some important festivals. That was it. So, and I was always there. When my father was struggling from 1972, 2 or 3 times, I went there to perform and I shared the concerts with my father in whole of Europe and America. I must have made at least 50, 60 world tours.
And in your interactions with your father, when you people were invited to perform either at the Rashtrapati Bhavan or the Prime Minister's house, what was your experience like, from the reaction perspective of these so great Prime Ministers that must have invited and enjoyed the performance of the great Ram Narayan and his son, Pandit Narayan?
Well, at least I must have played 5, 6 times. I played when Venkat Ramanji was there. And 2, 3 times he invited me to play for him. And that was a great honor for me. It was a very great honor for me. This all happened in those days. You see, now you were talking about popularity. Popularity comes with the support of the people and the government. That was very less. That was little on the lower side. But when my father started playing abroad and international festivals, then Sarangi became more popular everywhere. That is the thing. So we need to publicize the intricacy and the beautiful instrument that is Sarangi, just like Harsh said, Sarangi, an instrument of 100 colors. It has everything in it.
And you know, when he was mentioning that, I was also recollecting one of the memories that I have of my grandfather, that when respected Dr. Abdul Kalam ji, when he was the president of India, he had invited my grandfather, and my grandfather took me with him to perform at the Rashtrapati Bhavan for a private concert. So for Dr. Kalam and few of his close associates. And in fact, I have a small clip of that I put up on YouTube on my channel. So if the viewers would like to go and see how that concert went, that is available on my website. And it was an amazing experience to be at the Rashtrapati Bhavan, especially to be playing or being on the stage with my grandfather. And Dr. Kalam was so kind to us, and he himself was a musician. He used to play the veena, and he appreciated so much. And he especially, I remember this call. He told me that you have a bright future, young man. Keep going and keep doing what you're doing. So that was a very fond memory.
What was his relationship like with the Carnatic musicians? Could you throw a little bit more light on that?
Well, he had a very close relation with one of the greatest flautists, Mahalingamji. And, in fact, I would urge my father to narrate this story where Mahalingamji had given the flute to Bapu.
Yes.
That is something that, Amitji, I would like our viewers to know that story. And I'll let my father narrate that.
Well, I was on a trip with my father on a European tour. So, in one concert, Mahalingamji and my father, Mahalingamji was performing one day, and the next day my father was going to perform. Mahalingamji was not in the mood of playing at all. So people started saying, why don't you play? He just came on the stage and he didn't start playing. Then he said, is Narayan there? I said, people told, yes. Come and sit here on the stage with me. So my father went there. He gave a wonderful performance. I was there present in that concert. Fantastic performance Mahalingamji played. And after the end of the concert, he said, this was my last concert. And he gave his flute to my father. Now I'm not going to perform. So he gave the flute to my father. And that flute is now given in Shanmukha Sabha. And that flute is there now. It has been.
You are reading into my thoughts, I guess, because you are preempting my questions, reading into my thoughts, and leading me to the next question. Because every time I think of asking something, somehow telepathically this is coming up on its own. Shanmukhanand Museum in Mumbai, which has all the instruments. Do you also have sarangi? I read somewhere the sarangi of Pandit is also kept there.
Yes. So
Yes.
My grandfather, Pandit Narayan ji, donated one of his sarangis to Shanmukhananda Sabha a few years ago, and they have kept that in their museum.
And that flute also, which he gave it.
Yes, Mahalingamji's flute. So that was Mahalingamji's last international concert, and he said that he will not perform. And that
you see, the example that you have just now shared is something, an extract of this will be made viral by us, because the objective of this show is to, you may call it do a PR, but the PR is done with an agenda, with a purpose. Yes, our agenda's purpose is to bring out these important, unbelievable, unparalleled, unprecedented stories, unheard stories to the world. The bonhomie between the Hindustani and Carnatic music, which is exemplified through this example of a Carnatic great sharing his last performance with a Hindustani great and then giving his instrument to him, is an example which I have never heard before. And this will serve generations. Whenever we try to create, especially in the wake of the circumstances today, when North-South divide, there is politics between South and North. People are trying to milk that issue also. संगीत के माध्यम से ये जो उदाहरण आप लोगों ने बताया अपने पिताजी के बारे में, अपने दादाजी के बारे में और महालिंगम जी के बारे में, ये उनकी भी मानसिकता को दर्शाता है. उनके अंदर जो भावनाएं हैं, जो मानसिकता है, जो चरित्र है उनका, ये दर्शाता है उसको. और ये उभर के सामने आया विश्व के सामने जब उन्होंने अपनी प्रेमिका को, अपनी फ्लूट को उन्होंने अपने एक सहयोगी को दे दिया. It is a great example, Pandit Narayan ji. Okay. Financially, what were the challenges?
Amit, please come again. Financially, as in
what were the challenges? And as I was told, he donated 5 lakhs in the April of 2020, when the entire world was, at the brink of disaster.
Absolutely.
So how do you relate the non-popularity of the instrument, his challenges, his struggle, financial implications, and how did he manage to donate that 5 lakhs during the COVID times to the PM Cares Fund?
You see, my father, internationally, he was popularizing this most traditional instrument of this country. He also helped a lot of musicians, like he donated some money to Bismillah Khan, to VG Jog, and to any musician who would come and say ki they are in financial problem. The name of the institution is Ram Narayan Foundation, and uh, he used to give awards every year. 12, 15 artists he gave awards, and he used to have their concerts and try to explain to people about the intricacies and importance of Indian classical music. Indian classical music is a very important culture, this thing. Because you see, the most important thing is we have to keep this music alive. And I am very much inspired. My father used to always say, pure music. Play pure music. Don't go for any gimmicks. He used to always say, corruption. If you don't play music according to the way it should be, then you are not doing good service to the music.
Did you get a chance to play with or play for Guru Dutt?
For Guru Dutt, I was not. Then Guru.
Harsh, you were to say something? कुछ बोलना चाह रहे थे आप?
Yeah, my grandfather, he has played, but my father at that time was very young. But
No. Your grandfather, did he play for Guru Dutt?
Yeah.
Yes,
He played
yes.
a lot for
A lot.
Guru Dutt's movies.
a lot.
Sahil Ludhianvi written lyrics?
Yes.
मेरे प्रश्नों का एक there is a spirit to my questions. These two artists, they fall into the category, according to my knowledge, of Pandit Ram Narayan. Low profile, they never publicized, but इनका जो काम है, किसी की औकात नहीं है कि इनके काम के बारे में समझ भी सके, मेरे समझ में.
बिल्कुल सही कह रहे हैं.
ये मेरे फादर ने जैसा सारंगी बजाया है ना, अब आपको कभी सुनने को नहीं मिलेगी ऐसी सारंगी.
So basically, जैसे कहते हैं, and I don't say this as a loving grandson, but as a sarangi player, कि ना भूतो ना भविष्यति, कभी पहला ऐसा हुआ नहीं था, ना आगे कभी ऐसा होगा.
बिल्कुल.
So सारंगी को जैसे उन्होंने देखा है, जैसे उन्होंने बजाया, अभी ऐसा कभी नहीं होगा.
तो इट इज लाइक, जैसे हम कहते हैं ना, इनिमिटेबल मोहम्मद रफी, मतलब जो कभी उनसे बेहतर आ सकता है लेकिन वो नहीं आ सकता. रफी से बेहतर आ सकता है लेकिन रफी नहीं आएगा. वैसे ही राम नारायण से बेहतर हो सकता है, प्रकृति हमें दे दे, लेकिन राम नारायण नहीं आएगा. ये हम समझ सकते हैं.
और बेहतर भी नहीं आएगा, क्योंकि
बेहतर भी नहीं.
हाँ, वो अप्लाई होता है कि बेहतर भी नहीं आएगा, उनके कोई आसपास भी नहीं होगा. बट आई मस्ट शेयर वन थिंग. एक बात थोड़ी सी रह गई, जो उन्होंने पीएम केयर फंड में जो डोनेशन किया था, उसके बारे में एक बैक स्टोरी है जो मैं आपसे और आई वुड लाइक टू शेयर विद ऑल आवर व्यूअर्स टुडे. कि जब कोविड एकदम पीक पे था, एंड वी वर बीइंग वेरी केयरफुल विद हिम, कि we also were not having a lot of visitors, and with my grandfather's age, we were making sure that people don't come and see him. But the presence of mind was so strong even at the age of 93, 94, when peak COVID chal raha tha, that he said that this country has given so much love to me, and now when this country needs some help, this is what I can do to help this situation. And from his personal funds, his personal savings, he took out 5 lakhs and donated to PM Care Fund. And if I may say so, he is the only musician who has actually donated to the PM Care Fund. And we all are very proud of this thought process and this pure mindset that he has had towards the nation. He was a thorough India lover, thorough nation lover.
You know, in the last 4 or 5 years, there are so many great artists who left us. So many great artists. Prabha Atre, Bismillah Khan. There are so many great artists like Bala Subramaniam, Birju Maharaj ji, Shiv Sharma ji. There are so many artists, and then Ustaz Zakir Hussain. Every time such people leave us, it becomes a PR festival for most people who never even had any connections with the person. And they start publicizing their kind of mourning, kind of a saga with the messages. And even the Prime Minister is the first person almost, most of these cases, to tweet and express his, bereavement. In the case of Pandit Ram Narayan, even Zakir Hussain Saab, just a few days back, the entire social media, the entire internet was flooded with messages, etc. Therein, I came to know about Pandit Ram Narayan ji's demise on 9th November. Because I was told and was under an impression that he had already left us, because that is what my discussions with a few people of your industry had been, and I was misguided. In no uncertain terms, let me put it very candidly, I was misguided by some greats who even won Grammy Awards recently. And they told me that he is no more, and they stay just 2 kilometers from your place. Then when I read about Ram Narayan ji, I was shocked. And henceforth, today we are having this discussion today. Did you, apart from Om Birla, were there, people who reached out to your family on the 9th of November or thereafter on the sad demise of Pandit Ram Narayan ji?
Well, my grandfather, he received state honors as a send off, and he was sent off with state honors, and we did receive message from Om Birla ji and a few people from the ministry, like from the governor of Maharashtra as well. He was there at the funeral, and the commissioner of police was also there. So we did receive many messages and a lot of love. Now, as far as the world of social media is concerned, I think there is one world of social media, and then there's the real world. I think people who really mattered were there with us, with the family, and that's what matters to us the most.
From your industry, a few names that really reached out to you on after 9th November?
As far as my grandfather's, people who are close to his age, like Pandit Hari Prasad Chaurasia ji was there. He also came for the prayer meeting, and
lot of people like Shavana.
Yes, and then we have good relations with Shabana Azmi ji also, who was there, in this difficult time. So some of these people were there, and as I said, the people who are close to us. I don't want to put anyone on the spot, but people who mattered were there for us, and that's what is important.
But, the reason why I was trying to reach out to Ram Narayan ji was pressing the cause for a Bharat Ratna. Now, a Bharat Ratna is an award which is overdue to people like him, even posthumously now, because he was the senior most performing artist. Prabha Atre was also quite senior, but she had received the Padma Vibhushan only last year, and then she expired. I mean, now for the Bharat Ratna perspective, we would like to press the cause, like Subba Lakshmi ji, the performing arts is first Bharat Ratna recipient, male female combined. She was the first Bharat Ratna recipient. Then few others received, Bismillah Khan and so many people. But from the Bharat Ratna perspective, did anybody from the current dispensation also ever approach the family, be it at the state level or the central level, because it's a deserved award, because He is the senior most artist who was with us just a month back. And a Bharat Ratna to people like him, even to Pandit Hariprasad Chaurasia, Chanulal Mishra ji. These are all people in the 90s, and they deserve to be, felicitated as the pearls of India.
Yes.
Yes, absolutely, absolutely. So at the moment, I can say that we haven't received. I know my grandfather has been there in the running for Bharat Ratna for over a decade now, for a very long time. But we haven't received any news or any information yet. Another thing that I would like to share about. So he received the Padma Shri in 71. He received the Padma Bhushan in 91 and the Padma Vibhushan in 2005. And we are very proud that he or any of us didn't write even one letter to any ministry that these awards came to him in a platter. Of course, with his hard work. What I mean to say is that he didn't.
I'm sure somebody like me,
Yeah.
who has this campaign to put such things across to the decision makers and into their ears, because somebody, somewhere, somebody, has to take a step. So probably this will be one step that we will be taking. Finally, sir, awards. There are these great artists who announce awards in their names. Is there an award named under Pandit Ram Narayan ji for the field of arts and music?
Well, as my father was mentioning earlier, we have Pandit Ram Narayan Foundation, and the award that was given was in his name itself. It was Pandit Ram Narayan Foundation Award. So we have the organization.
Do you mention Padma Vibhushan in that?
Not in the foundation name. We don't mention Padma Vibhushan there. Usually, his personal communications would include Padma Vibhushan.
No, in the award, is it called Padma Vibhushan Pandit Ram Narayan Award?
It is called Pandit Ram Narayan Foundation Award. Not.
I think I think it speaks volumes about the character of the family. Not only because you see, this stems from the top. जो Narayan ji hai, Pandit ji hai, what harsh you are an educated man, worked in the corporate world, you have a distinguished academic and professional career which you left to pursue Sarangi now. All I can say is, Pandit Narayan ji, you should ensure that the name of Pandit Ram Narayan and also your own instrument Sarod, which anyways has a lot more people who play today, and they're very popular and they run their own foundations and show and they run their own mahotsavs, the festivals of music. Do you also run such festivals from the foundation's perspective?
The foundation, at one point, we had done many concerts that were curated by my grandfather and also my father. But yes, we plan to continue doing a festival under Pandit Ram Narayan Foundation. And we will, in time, we will take this up and put some concerts to.
Yeah. And support from the corporates?
So far, we have had support from the corporates. And one thing I must also share.
There is no like that Wah Ustad Wah. We have anything like Wah Pandit Ji Wah? Has that never come to you?
Not yet. No. No.
And is it because he didn't have those curly hairs or something else? What was the reason? Because he didn't have hairs.
I think he had amazing hair. You see, my father at the age of 74 has lovely hair. So that's the kind of hair I would want.
and the with the background of the Rajwadas, background of Udaipur, the tourism capital of India, if not the world. You come with a royal blood. Royalty is in you, and as they say, royalty is permanent, richness is temporary. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Pandit Narayan ji, and the great legacy carrier, the flag bearer, Harsh Narayan, my dear friend. I look forward to more interactions with you.
Likewise.